I went to Chief Martinez the next morning. I brought everything: the surveillance logs, Nathan's analysis, the witness inconsistencies, the connection to the Vance family, the timeline that showed how the frame-up had been orchestrated. I brought the truth. Martinez listened without interrupting. When I finished, she sat in silence for a long moment. "You can't prove he committed murder," she said finally. "No, but you can prove the backdoor exists, that he built it, that he used it for unauthorized surveillance." "Yes, and the frame-up? Circumstantial, but strong enough to create reasonable doubt about Danny Vance's conviction." Martinez stared at the files spread across her desk. "This is going to be a mess," she said. "Victor Pardalou's company, a surveillance scandal, a wrongful arrest. The mayor is going to lose his mind." "I know, and Aberdeen has resources, lawyers. He'll fight this every step of the way." "I know that too." Martinez looked up at me. "Why did you push so hard on this? The case was closed. You could have let it go." I thought about Danny Vance in that interview room, the fear in his eyes, the way he'd looked at me when they led him out of the courtroom. "Because an innocent man was going to prison," I said, "and because my sister deserved better than a cold case file." Martinez nodded slowly. "All right," she said. "Let's make some calls." The warrant came through in 48 hours. Not for murder, we didn't have enough for that, but for unauthorized access to computer systems, illegal surveillance, and conspiracy to obstruct justice. Enough to hold him, enough to dig deeper. We moved on a Saturday morning. Burke and I, plus 4 officers from the mainland. We hit his house at 6:00 a.m., warrant in hand, ready for resistance. There was none. Pierre Aberdeen answered the door in a bathrobe, coffee cup in hand, looking almost amused. "Detective Hartley." He glanced at the officers behind me. "I was wondering when you'd get around to this." "Pierre Aberdeen, you're under arrest for—" "I know what I'm being arrested for." He set the coffee cup on a table by the door. "I assume I can get dressed first?" We let him change under supervision. He emerged in press slacks and a button-down shirt, looking more like he was headed to a meeting than a holding cell. As they led him to the patrol car, he paused next to me. "This won't stick," he said quietly. "You know that. We'll see. I've been building systems for 20 years, detective. This is just another problem to solve." His eyes met mine. "But I have to admit, you surprised me. Most people would have given up long ago." "I'm not most people." "No." He smiled that same measured smile. "No, you're not." They put him in the car and drove away. I watched until the vehicle disappeared around the corner. It wasn't over. Not by a long shot. But it was a start. Danny Vance was released 3 days later. The DA reviewed the evidence we'd compiled, the manufactured witnesses, the planted knife, the fingerprint that could have been transferred. It wasn't enough to prove Aberdeen's involvement in the murders, but it was enough to create doubt about Danny's guilt. "Reasonable doubt," the DA said. "That's all we need to drop the charges." I was there when they let him out. He walked through the gates of the county jail, blinking in the sunlight, looking like a man who didn't quite believe he was free. "Detective Hartley." His voice was hoarse. "I didn't know if I'd ever see the outside again. You shouldn't have been in there in the first place. But I was, and you got me out." He looked at me with something that might have been gratitude, might have been grief. "Thank you. Don't thank me yet. The real killer is still being processed. It's going to be a long road." "I know." He took a deep breath. "But at least I'm not walking it from a cell." He walked away toward the bus stop, toward whatever life was waiting for him on the other side of this nightmare. I hoped it would be better than what came before. Victor Pardalu requested a meeting. I went to his office, the same glass building, the same polished conference room. But this time, there were no lawyers, just Victor sitting at the table looking older than he had a month ago. "I didn't know," he said, "about the back door, about any of it." "I believe you. Do you?" He looked at me. "I built this company. I funded the research, approved the projects, put my name on everything, and the whole time someone was using my systems to spy on people, to hurt people." Aberdeen was good at hiding. He was better than good. He was invisible. Victor shook his head. "I hired him 20 years ago, thought he was brilliant, dedicated, exactly the kind of person I wanted building my technology, and the whole time, he didn't finish the sentence." "What happens now?" I asked. "We're reviewing everything, every system, every line of code, removing the backdoor, auditing the access logs." He laughed bitterly. "It'll take years, cost millions, and it still won't undo what he did." "No, it won't." Victor was quiet for a long moment. "Your mother loved Emma," he said finally. "More than anything. When Emma died, it destroyed her, and when she couldn't live with that destruction anymore, he looked away. I should have done more, should have pushed harder to find out who killed her. You didn't know, that's not an excuse. He met my eyes. I'm sorry, detective, for everything my company became, for everything that happened because I wasn't paying attention. I didn't know what to say to that. Thank you, I said finally, for cooperating. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was something.